Welcome to Rad Rolls. I've got Cody, Jared, May, and Mike here, along with myself, Dave, and we're going to be going through the rest of the quiet year here. We're going to get into autumn. So now I am going to deal Cody a card here, and I'm going to show it to everybody. Go ahead and read for it, Cody.
Okay. Someone returns to the community. Who? Where were they? You find a body. Do people recognize who it is? What happened? All right. What was the... I forgot the name, or if they had a name. Who was the person who started the witch coven?
Oh, it was just a teenage girl.
Random girl that was super successful.
She's dead.
Is she?
She is now dead. The witch coven, people do recognize her as the original witch, and the witch coven has sacrificed her to gain deeper arcane power.
Wow.
Oh man, that's messed up.
There's a lot of sacrifice going on.
And she was found at the. Her body was sacrificed at the pile of rocks.
I mean, that's okay. That tracks.
Par for the course.
I mean,
Mike, you had a project.
Blaming Uncle Steve.
That's true. Mike, you had a project going on. Do you remember what that was?
Was that the machine gun nests for the army guys?
Yeah, I think so. And I think
completed?
ends. That project will end on my turn, so just that's something to remember. Cody, you get to either discover something new, have a discussion, or start a project. Which would you like to do? And don't forget to draw in the dead girl.
Yes, I was just going to make some of the rocks red. Oh, that is a good question. What should we... I feel like I want to discover something.
Okay.
We haven't done anything. I feel like we haven't done enough with the haunted corn cob. What could we discover there? Let's discover. Yeah, okay. I'll just keep with it. Let's discover that the witch coven, after sacrificing their original leader, has taken up residence. I don't know
Children
how
of
big
the
this
corn cob?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how big this corn cob is.
Oh my God.
But, it is now there.
I believe we established it was 4 stories tall.
Oh shit! All right, yeah, that's where they live. They've sacrificed their leader and have taken up residence in the haunted corn cob.
I used to play bass for 40-foot cob, but that's
Wow. Good.
Yeah, I like that. It's good. All right. I believe it's my turn now, and I'm going to draw a card. Disease spreads through your community. Choose one. You spend a week quarantining and treating the disease. Project dice are not reduced this week, or nobody knows what to do about it. Add a health and fertility as a scarcity. I'm going to say the disease spreads through the community and nobody knows what to do about it. So I will add those scarcities, the health and fertility scarcities, because of this disease. I will add as a particular disease came from the husks. That's what everybody suspects.
Oh,
so that's so if I recall correctly, that's the folks from the other town.
Yeah, up here.
Okay.
Yeah. They have a disease now. They have a big old disease, and it's absolutely stanky. And you can see them just stanking it up in the corner over there.
Ooh.
Yeah. And now, Mike, I believe your project is complete. Your machine gun barriers are now done just in time for the disease. What's the outcome of that project?
The outcome is that the army guys in the machine gun nests now have a shoot on sight policy for the husks. So if they see a husk, they open fire.
Wow. That's intense. All right.
Escalation.
And then I'm
Just
going
in
to
time
discover
for the
something.
plague to hit us.
Mm-hmm.
That's the actual quarantine that's happening. I'm going to discover something new. The elephant that has been in the zoo, abandoned. Everybody went to the elephant, and it turns out the elephant can now talk. It is a talking elephant. Nobody's sure why, but the elephant can talk. Jared, it is now your turn, and
Deal
I'll
me
draw
up.
your card for you. Oops.
The strongest among you dies what caused the death, or the weakest among you dies. Who's to blame for their death? I think I'm going to go with the strongest. We just had a plague or disease hit us, and everyone thinks that, the children and the elderly are usually at like most risk for these diseases. So it comes as a shock when we'll say a just like blue collar tradesfolk, probably works out in their spare time, does contract work, builder, the epitome of health. This disease hits them really hard, and it really comes as a shock because no one expected this to happen. They would have figured like the elderly, maybe they were taking protective measures. Maybe this dude was, like, oh, it won't affect me. Well, joke's on you. So I think it'll be him. And I think I'm going to draw a tombstone with a set of dumbbells next to it. For that, I'll do that when the turn comes around. As for my action, I'd like to discover something new. And Dave, I talked to you a little bit about this at the tree ceremony. There's a new visitor in town. His name is Steed Zimmer, and he is a renowned weatherologist and storm chaser. And for whatever reason, he's very attracted to this town.
Good old Zimmer.
Yep, Steed Zimmer. So I'll do my drawings now.
That sounds good. All right, May, you are up next. I will draw your card for you.
The community becomes obsessed with a single project. Which one? Why? Choose one. They decide to take more time to ensure that it is perfect, add 3 weeks to a project die, or they drop everything else to work on it. All other projects fail. If there are no projects underway, add a scarcity born of idleness. Okay, are there any projects currently going?
No, there are no projects currently
There are
going.
no current projects. All the projects have finished up. So a scarcity born of idleness. So
we should be doing something. There should be something happening.
there
We're
should
not
be
doing
something
anything.
going on. I'm going to say that there is. I'm going to say that there's going to be a scarcity of. Would it make sense to say entertainment? Because everybody is so bored that people are just starting to. The same problem they used to kind of have with the Fireboys is now they have people who in the evenings the end of summer festival was wonderful. That was a great feeling, and everybody was involved. And now everybody's sort of separated back into their own little cliques, and nobody's doing anything. And people are starting to get suspicious and slightly destructive of
It
each
sounds
other.
like daylight savings time to me, and I'm all
Basically,
for it.
yeah. So the scarcity is of entertainment, essentially.
Right. Since there's no projects going on, you can either discover something new, start a conversation, or start a project.
I am going to just straight up start a project. There's a bunch of people who are bored, and they're like, you know what we have an awful lot of that are just sitting around. I think we have a whole lot of empty houses that some people are living in. People are actually moving from house to house. There's so many empty houses that they decide that they're going to create an escape room club. And what it is two or three different groups start making their own escape room puzzles. And every weekend they try and attract people who live in the town to try and do the escape room. And as they're doing this, the escape rooms become more and more elaborate. I'm going to say this is a 4-week project. By the end of the 4-week project, they've tried to raise the stakes so much that they have an escape room that if you don't get out in an hour, they burn the house down with you in it.
We just made Saw.
I love this.
We made
love
Saw.
Yeah,
There's
basically.
just now a faction of Saw people.
That just have like the weaponized escape room genre is a thing now.
Yeah, so figure out a place to draw that, and if the project completes if it completes, it has 4 weeks, then that will solve the idleness issue that they're having.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Really well.
No reason to
All
be
right.
bored anymore.
And
Witch Coven started on that too.
I'm gonna come over here and we've got the Miami decorated neighborhood. We're gonna have the mid-century modern industrial brutalism neighborhood is where this is happening. So lots and lots of gray and black and white squares over here. All of these homes that are incredibly ugly, and now some of them are charred cinders because there's nothing that remains of them. And brutalism architecture, let's face it, the best thing you can do with it is burn it down. So the town seems to actually be okay with it as long as it doesn't involve people who didn't sign up for the escape room. They're fine with it.
I love
I'm
it.
sorry, I just noticed the witch hat on the corn cob.
Yeah, I forgot that I needed to draw something for that. So you took care of it.
Pretty good. All right,
So we
Mike.
got the brutalism, literally the brutalism escape rooms.
There we go.
Mike, here is your
Yeah.
card.
Okay.
It's a lot of scarcities.
Yeah. A project just isn't working out as expected. Radically change the nature of this project. Don't modify the project die. When it resolves, you'll be responsible for telling the community how it went. Or something goes foul and supplies are ruined. Add a new scarcity.
I'm excited about this. I want to hear this.
Since all we have, the only project we got going is the brutalism escape rooms. I'm going to radically change the nature of this project. Where before, it was voluntary. It just wasn't really getting.
Is it Saw Purge? Saw Purge.
It's little Hunger Games. Now each faction in the city, which we have quite a few. We got the beatniks, we got the soldiers, we got the witches, the regular folks. So we've got all the different factions have to every week send one representative into the most dangerous brutalism escape room, and only one can make it out alive.
Oh my
and
god!
while the rest of the community watches.
Oh god, it's the Running Man.
Thunderdome. Thunderdome.
Dare I say this
So-
takes care of both the entertainment and the sense of identity scarcity.
I was just going to say, I feel like we're
Forget about
forming an identity.
hospitality. Oh, wow.
I don't know
That's
how that
awesome.
manifestation of hope is really playing out.
Yeah, can
but
we
the
double
identity's
down
really
on the
getting there.
manifestation of hope being a scarcity?
Health and fertility is not looking great either.
All right. Project dice are moved down since it was a 4-week project. I think it'll be done on my turn. May's project will be, well, May and now Mike's project collectively will be done on my turn. Mike, you get to discover something new, start a project, or start a conversation.
I think we're going to start a new project, or start a project, but it's going to be continuing an old one. Some of the citizenry is so kind of upset by this direction that they're like, we should probably start working on that vault again. So some people are going to now go back to work on the vault to try to get it into a livable space that they can hopefully retreat to should the nature of this community continue on its dark path. I guess so.
I think it's a good 6-weeker.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll.
Hey, there's a big pile of building materials right next to it.
With more on the way.
That's true. So we'll move that into 6 weeks. Gonna write that in. Oops.
Now, where was the vault icon on the map?
It was technically this little circle up here in the top. Yeah, right up there in the top. That's where the vault
perfect.
was. All right. Wow, what a turn. Oh, how the turntables. Cody, you are next, and your card is drawn.
Ooh.
Harvest is here and plentiful. Add in abundance. Or cold autumn winds drive out your enemies. Remove a threatening force from the map and the area. Well, I mean, obviously we're not doing the second one. Let's say, we have a scarcity down here of wood. So let's say that a lot of trees have grown, and we have harvested lots of wood for our various our vault project. However, wood helps in a vault, and especially for our death houses. So we can change that to an abundance. I think I will start a project for the Doomers, because they've become a militia. That's something they accomplished a few weeks back. Let's see, where should we send them off to?
So do we have a militia and a military, or did they just combine forces to...
The military's just 5 dudes.
Yeah,
that
okay,
showed
got
up.
it.
So I guess they're putting in work, but the militia's kind of like the main force. Gosh, what should we have them do though? Let's see. Let's have them. What did we end up doing? What's this other icon by the factory, the abandoned factory? What was that again? Water
was a
purifying.
well?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we were trying to address a poisoned well, basically. So we've got a system where we're boiling our own salinated water.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have the Doomer militia send out like water caravans and start a kind of like beginning of a trade network with any nearby settlements that might need water. I don't know how long that could take. I mean, that could take quite a long time. Let's give them at least a month to sort of see if they can make contact with somebody.
Sure. So you're trying to deliver water to people, see if they can make contact?
Yes.
All right, cool. I'll write that in as a 400 that, so that way we remember what we set that as. 4. All right. And now it is my turn. And I will draw my card. All right. The parish arrives. Who are they? Why have they chosen your community, and for what? A small gang of marauders is making its way through local terrain. How many are there? What weapons do they carry? What is the parish? What is exactly the parish?
So the interesting thing is it's capitalized like a proper noun. Is there a way for you to look through the quiet year rules to see if it comes up? Otherwise, my personal interpretation is like a faith leader or some type of like religious.
Yeah, I straight up thought you were going to say just witch hunters, which would be hilarious.
Yeah, no, here's what's happening. This parish, who are they? Why have they chosen your community, and for what? The parish has arrived. It turns out that you have been seeing these wigged people that the vertebrates have been dropping off. These white wigged people have been showing up in droves, and they are very powerful judges. From the American government
has arrived,
and they are spreading the word of American values. It is the Church of American Values, and they are here to. They're at the center of America. They chose this area after the fall of the rest of America to bring back the real and pure America. And they're just known as the Justices.
It's the buckle of the Bible Belt.
Yes, it is.
Everyone,
And
we're here to spread American values. What are you guys doing? We're having Hunger Games. Come on, come check out our Hunger Games.
These are our witches. You know, this is don't mind the beatniks carrying around chocolate. It's fine.
They make chocolate. These guys do arson.
Oh gosh, I forgot about the arsonists.
All right. Next week, I believe May's project is up on Jared's turn. So I'm going to I'm going to start a project, I believe, this week. My project is the elephant has decided that it wants to find other animals, a crew of about 10 animals, and also teach them how to talk.
But they're all goats. No, I'm sorry.
It's going to be an eclectic group of animals he's going to try to pull from local wildlife, even though it's very scarce. But he is going to try to help with the scarcity, but they're all going to be talking animals. I'm going to say
this rat coyotes.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this takes about 6 weeks. The rat coyotes he doesn't want. He thinks they're scary.
Okay, fair enough.
They're scary.
He's not wrong.
Gonna be like a squirrel or a mouse, a possum.
Somebody's been playing Baldur's Gate with Speak with Animals spell.
Or, maybe I just want 20 rocket raccoons running around.
Yes.
Funny enough,
we're
the
now
original
playing
Fallout, they were going to have actual, intelligent raccoons that had formed a civilization on the surface.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all don't know it yet, but we're playing Root next week.
All right, that's my turn. Jared, your turn is Aura. So there is your card.
Introduce a dark mystery among the members of the community, or conflict flares up among community members, and as a result, the project fails. I don't know. Like I don't want to sow the seeds of discord and pick the project failure because they all sound so good. So I will introduce a dark mystery among the members of the community. With the building of Brutalist Hunger Games and decisions being made as to like what groups should represent each of these different factions, we find out that there has been a secret society of some sort that has been in this community. It probably goes back at least 3 to 4 generations, and it's been a pretty well-kept secret. And it's kind of coming to a head right now because there's folks within this society that are like, if there's going to be representation here, we don't want multiples of our people being sent to the slaughter. We need to preserve our own. So the Brutalist Hunger Games has kind of forced their hand, and they're becoming little by little a bit more known. What do we want to name them? I'll come up with a name later. I'll think about it. But we've got the Bible Belt Buckle Secret Society.
Freemasons.
Like something similar. I'll figure out a name here a little bit later.
Gideons.
Okay. Now, the project I want to have is...
Hang on. We're going to complete up Mike and May's project. Tell me about this. Tell me about this Saw. How did that go? How is that going currently? Since the escape room / battle royale is happening, do you all have any input on how that completes up?
I would say very popular. Everyone was real excited about it.
Yeah, the justices may not be happy about it, but people have begun challenging each other to duels or trial by combat and having it be settled in the Brutalist escape room arena instead of actually, waiting for any kind of sort of judgment coming down from, well, let's say, the justices or the parish or whoever they might be. They've decided they can take the matter into their own hands, trial by combat.
Yeah, I like the idea that it has proven to be so effective that is now the chief way disagreements are handled in the community. Is just a challenge to the escape room. And it is very much like a Saw escape room. It's not just them like fighting. It's they get put in like maybe different rooms of the house and they have to figure out traps. And it's basically whoever makes it out alive was right in the disagreement, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Like whoever survived was right. It's kind of like
Alice in the Borderland. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Like the medieval, like God chose the winner, therefore they were right. They made it out. So
yeah, I like it. All right, Jared, you wanted to start a project. What was that about?
And I think I'm going to go. Yeah, so I think the society is going to be the Society of the Ivory Prairie, because I certainly didn't use a random name generator or anything to try to come up with something.
I didn't hear any typing. Nothing of the sort.
So the Society of the Ivory Prairie. So the project is Steve Zimmer has done a fairly good job of actually predicting the weather over the past month or so that they have been in town. And they are asking to create a formal weather station, something with just some instrumentation, maybe like a watchtower or something, just to give them a little bit of elevation. And because we have some buildings, maybe like a taller building or something, it could probably be adapted to that. I'm going to call it maybe like a. Oh, do we have any weird scarcities or abundances or anything? What do you say to like a 2 to 3 week? We'll call it a 3-week project because we have some real estate that we can utilize, and we're going to make a weather station.
Cool. Sounds good. I think 3 weeks is good for a weather station. All right. So we've got May up next. May, I'm going to draw your card for you here.
Oh boy. Someone leaves the community after issuing a dire warning. Who, what was the warning? Or someone issues a dire warning and the community leaps into action to avoid a disaster. What is the warning? Start a contentious project that relates to it. So it's enough somebody leaving the community after a dire warning, or someone issues a dire warning and into action to avoid the disaster. What is the warning? This is hard. This one's difficult for me. I'm going to say that all right. So I'm going to say that the oldest person in the entire community recently, our old friend who almost made it to 100 years old and was eaten by a sunflower tragically. He was the oldest in the community, and once he was gone, the second oldest in the community kind of became the new face of the soon-to-be centennial, like this old woman who is just 2 months younger than the other guy. It's like she finally has her birthday, and as she is having her 100th birthday, she croaks out a dire warning that there's something wrong with the air. That something in the air doesn't feel right. And as she is doing this, she starts getting like a shortness of breath and kind of like goes into convulsions and keels over. And as she's doing this, nobody knows quite what's going on with her. Some people are like, well, she's old. She's finally, she made it to 100 and now she's had it. But some of the smarter people in the group realize that everybody's starting to get headaches in this little house where they're celebrating her birthday, that there's something. These houses are very, very close to the hole with all of the ancient artifacts in it that they've been using as a supply dump. And people realize that they're getting very lightheaded. They're getting headaches. They're starting to pass out. And they realize that there's something they can't smell that's in the air that is affecting their ability to breathe. It's CO2 or evil gases or something. And everybody immediately evacuates all of the buildings and all of the areas near the supply depot. Unfortunately, the good news is in the process, the only person who passes away is Moira at 100 years old and 2 hours. But since they had to abandon the whole of ancient artifacts and all the supplies they had thrown in there, in order to keep people from passing out and possibly dying from whatever it is that's leaking out of this hole into the air, they have to abandon all the supplies until they can come up with a way to provide their own air source to go back and get the supplies. I'm thinking like ground seepage, carbon monoxide. Something's coming up from the ground.
Okay.
If memory serves, that was the food.
Yes, all of the food and all the stuff that was thrown in the hole is now cordoned off due to the threat of loss of life. Because anybody gets close to it, first they get a pounding headache, then their eyesight starts to go, and eventually they collapse and pass out. And if they collapse and pass out and stay there too long, they'll probably die.
All right, so there's no projects currently going on. We've got our dire warning about the terrible lady. Mike, you have a point to make.
Oh, the Vault project is going on.
There are projects going. There are projects going on. The Cody's looking for the things ends on your turn, Mike. So that's when it happens, and then you get 6 weeks for yours. So I believe on Cody's turn, that's when that goes. Excuse me, I misspoke. Somebody get the justices and come get them to take me away. But May, I believe that you can discover something new, start a project, or hold a discussion.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to discover something new. So all of a sudden, there's this crisis of people not being able to get to these. Like basically the supplies that have been put aside for the town to make sure they had enough, food and stuff. Now it's in question if they're going to have what they need on hand. And as it turns out, they discovered that a group of traders has followed the initial militia's attempts to trade fresh water to neighboring towns. To a neighboring village called Newmanville, otherwise known as the biggest little village in the world. And it's not on most maps. It's populated mostly by people who are all 5'2" or shorter. But what they do have, they don't have quite enough water. So trading water was a godsend to them. And they are happily trading
they're short kings and queens.
Yep. And they're trading.
The water hasn't arrived, by the way. The water has not arrived to these folks.
They've headed the other direction. They came looking for somebody to trade with while the other ones were going out. And they are working on, they have miniature bison and ponies that they are willing to trade for other supplies like sunflower seeds and water.
Cool.
They're not moving into state, but they are willing to set up a the two head short people are named Kimberly and Jacob, and they show up willing to set up a trade organization. And the first people they see in town are the beatniks working for the chocolatiers, and the beatniks are kind of laid back about the whole thing. So, so you have found people outside the town who don't want to kill you on sight and who have you can buy some burgers for everybody.
Cool. Draw in the little people and the bison and your stinkiness around the hole that you made with that old lady.
Yes. The
stinky lady hole.
No, we're not calling it that.
All right. Mike, it is now your turn, and I have drawn your card for you.
Miasma. Okay. I'm drawing a miasma.
A project finishes early. Which one? Why? Or if there are no projects underway, restlessness creates animosity. Okay, so a project finishes early. The projects in process were water trading, correct?
Water trading,
the vault,
water trading,
and the weather station.
Yeah, what's the weather station at?
Oh yeah.
I started it. I called it 3 weeks. May's turn went up, so it would be at 2 weeks. So it would be 2-1. It would finish on Cody's turn.
Yes.
All right, that's so. I'll go ahead and do the vault project finishes early.
Why is that?
A lot more time on it. So we'll do the vault project finishes early, thanks to our robot companion, who's really good at construction.
And the wood.
And the wood, all the wood, which they used
the
to
wood.
burn. They burned the wood in the furnace to smelt the metal in order to build the metal walls and interiors for this vault. So there's now a working vault basically in this community.
Nice. Project's now finished. I believe in your turn, Cody. Your project is now complete. The people from the Doomers have gone out to give water out to communities. What did they find? How did that project complete?
Well, they found that shit's pretty fucked out there, but there is a community to let's put it to the east. There is a small community of doctors, hospital workers. I don't know, something that might help out with their health and fertility problems. So yeah, there's a community of doctors that they found to the east.
Okay.
That they gave
So,
some water
like,
to.
imagine a hospital that's also like a learning center, so they get like a bunch of residents in and have housing for residents. I'm modeling this. Yeah, I'm
like
modeling this after a hospital that's like actually in mine and Dave's community. The hospital owns housing for the residents to stay in for the few years they'll be there, because they know these folks are going to be rotating out every couple of years or so.
I have a friend that lives in one.
Yeah, so
Cody.
That's less dark than what I was planning. I was just going to say it was like a remote sort of retirement home, but things are pretty bad. So all the old people died, but the healthcare workers were still being able to like make it through.
Sure.
But they can have some residence halls too for students and doctors in training.
I think that works out fine too. It was just kind of like pitching the idea, but this is
you get the PhDs.
This is your
fantasy in
fantasy
here, and they're like, oh, hospitals and doctors. It's fun, guys. Going to the doctor.
I go to the doctor every day. Like, I don't.
All right. So that's how your project completes, Cody. If you'll draw in your little doctor community of failed doctors for old people. Mike, you get to either discover something new, hold a discussion, or start a project.
I'm going to start a project because I thought of this and I think it'd be great. So the judges, they have let the community know that to truly be a great example of the legacy of America, as they need to be a functional democracy, which means they need to hold an election. So the community has, I would say, probably 3 weeks to organize like an election for community leadership, maybe like a president and then like a ruling council.
Okay, cool. I would say 3 weeks is probably good to hold an election for the
forcing democracy on a place is very American. You can't get much more American than that.
nothing like forcing democracy on random Midwest folks.
And I'm going to represent this with a red, white, and blue balloons in the middle of town.
Sure, yeah. So 3 weeks on that. I'll mark that for you to help us remember. 3 weeks. All right, and Cody, it is now your turn. I've got another card here for you.
Okay. The community works constantly, and as a result, a project finishes early. Or a group goes out to explore the map more thoroughly and find something that had been previously overlooked. Ooh, okay. Oh, this could be fun. Yeah. This is what we want to do. All right. The beatniks explore the town more thoroughly. In that aquifer that got poisoned months ago, they have found irrefutable evidence that the Doomers poisoned it.
Oh,
Ooh.
oh, snap!
Dang.
Oh.
Dang.
Yep,
All
the
right.
people with the guns tried to kill everybody else. Have fun.
Dang. All right.
Too real.
Jared, your storm situation, your weather station has finished up. Tell me about that project, how it finished.
Yep. So Steed Zimmer, with the help of several other folks, have created a weather station. It's almost like if you can imagine the top story of one of these buildings being turned into like a fire tower type thing, sort of observation deck, weather vane, some instrumentation that they're able to get, like, collecting water to see what type of precipitation, stuff like that. A few, like a telescope that was found somewhere that's kind of been repurposed into something to be able to look along the flatlands to see if anything's coming up. But we now have a functioning weather station to be able to predict future weather.
Cool. Cody, you get to either discover something new, start a project, or hold a discussion.
Let us hold a discussion.
Okay. If you all remember, he's going to either ask a question or make a statement, and we're all going to respond in 1 to 2 sentences. So you have the floor.
What do we do about the Doomers trying to doom the entire town again?
We're going to send the Doomers to battle the Husks.
Then whoever wins, machine gun them all.
All right, Jared?
They're certainly problematic, and the fact that we've allowed them to have weapons doesn't make matters better. I'm not sure what we can do to deal with them, but it's certainly a problem.
And May?
So, yeah, they poisoned the well, but have they ever since we figured out? So they poisoned the well, and then we came up with 2 new sources of fresh water. They have guns. We can literally turn a huge stockpile of fireworks into our own guns and blast them out of existence. I think, I honestly think we can just wall them off and forget about them. They're not a risk to us.
All right. So that ends Cody's turn. So it is now my turn. And I have a natural disaster strikes the area. Choose one. You focus on getting everyone to safety. Remove an abundance and a project fails. Or you focus on protecting your supplies. Hard work at any cost. Several people die as a result. Let me think about this. I think we get like crazy like torrential downpours. And unfortunately, in a post-apocalyptic world where nuclear strikes have happened, that is what they call a rad storm, and it's like flash flooding. And I think everything kind of gets like it's like mass flooding, and you're in the middle of Kansas, and there's nowhere for the water to go. The city, like the main portions of the built up city, seem to be doing all right because of their they've done a bunch of construction. There's a lot of real estate, and if you work in a particular construction field, you know that utilities are pretty much the first things to go in when you're building a project. So they would have a stormwater system. So areas where there's the stormwater system within the circle are fine, but pretty much everything outside of the circle is completely flooded, if not, just like the area is ruined and multiple people die from the irradiated rain. So that's what happens with that. Projects that are ongoing, the vault finished up. We've got 3 weeks, I believe. Let's see. No, the election will finish up on Jared's turn.
The talking elephant will finish up on my turn as well, I think.
Yes, it will. So I'm going to discover something new. When they finished this vault, they heard like they had this torrential downpour, and they heard this like weird rushing sound through the vault, and they actually went to one of the areas where it was kind of like still, like they had just finished up construction on it, but they found that a storm drain is actually near the vault, and they were able to open it up, and they can see now that they have a huge storm drain system that connects them pretty much to the entire town. These pipes, I mean, storm drain pipes are huge. They're like, you could fit like a whole person inside of them standing up very easily.
Cool.
So that's what they discovered. Storm drains.
They engineered these for lots and lots and lots of houses.
Yeah, an abundance of real estate. All right. Now autumn is finished.
Is there not one more card?
We can play this game again and try to find out.
I had in my mind that I would have been card 13.
I'm going to move all the cards out, and you can count them up. It'll just take me just a second to do. Nobody's holding any cards. So what?
Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't see an 8. Well, there's only 10 cards showing right now.
It's weird. There must be a problem with the deck itself, because nothing else is good. So we've got 8 and 9. And
well, let's take a look at let's see here. So we're Ace 2. We're missing the 3 of clubs, which is someone leaves the community. That was one that May had. 4, 5, 6, 7. We're missing the 8. Someone sabotages a project and the project fails. Someone is caught trying. So we haven't seen 8. 9. Community works constantly.
We've done that one.
Or a group goes out to explore the map more thoroughly. So that was one that.
We've done that one. Yes.
Let's see.
That's what we're just
10's on the board. Jack, Queen, and then
got
King
all the
is. Yep. So we're missing.
Yeah. So you'll get 8. So that'll be your card, and then we'll be done with autumn, I believe. So I'm going to get rid of these cards. I don't know why it does that. And why it's been acting like that, but I'm going to now show everybody the 8 there.
Okay. Someone sabotages a project and the project fails as a result. Who did this and why? Or someone is caught trying to sabotage the efforts of the community. How does the community respond? So what projects do we have pending right now? The election and the talking elephant?
The election and the talking elephants, are both going to end on the animals that are talking.
let's see here. I'm going to say someone is caught trying to sabotage the efforts of the community, and how does the community respond? So I think what we're going to find out is that we had the older gentleman who was confirmed communist and was at the fireworks factory. He had maybe one or two sort of acolytes that he had been, training up, and they have secretly been consorting with the elephant to try to teach it Chinese instead, so that they could use, so that there would be a talking elephant, but it wouldn't speak English, so that we couldn't enjoy this gift. And perhaps now that we're showing this elephant to teach more animals how to talk, they would also learn Chinese as well. I think how does the community respond? Probably not so well. I think whoever is doing this gets thrown out of town. Like, just get out of here. There's other communities that will put up with this. And I think there's several folks that now around the clock have to re-educate the elephant on English so that they can deprogram Chinese back out of it. It's sad because it's an Asian elephant.
Sure, they literally just took all the panda bears away from us.
I know. It's a sad day. Let's see. We're going to discover something.
Well, we got some
projects. Yeah. Projects.
I'll finish up since we're on the topic of the animals that learn to talk. The animals, there's about 10 of them. Most of them are, there's like the elephant, of course, but there's also like a squirrel, probably a dog, a cat. Like these are like local fauna, like nothing like, maybe one of the miniature bison gets in and is like, maybe a pony and a miniature bison come over. A pony and a miniature bison walk into
It's like Muzzy from the old commercials. Jesu la zombie,
Yes. Yeah, that's what I imagine happens. But so they learn to talk English, but secretly they hold meetings at night where they speak in another language and all wear red.
The beast
that's
mood.
How my project is.
It's Animal Farm. Oh no.
The solstice beast mood is upon us.
Mike, tell me about this election. What happens with that?
I'm so glad you asked, and thank you for the delicious gift, Jared. So the community, resentful of being told to hold an election by the judges, initially were going to do a protest vote, and the leading candidate was the Chinese Communist spy. But this revelation that he had other spies trying to teach the elephant has thrown, this was the September surprise, which has now caused the community to now rally their support behind the talking elephant. So, backed by a coalition of the witches, the beatniks, and
God.
and other dissidents in the community, the talking elephant has been elected as the president of the community.
Wow.
Whoa.
This is not a political podcast, guys. Not
All
even.
right.
This is just the way it turned out.
Originally, it was going to be the Chinese spy, but Jared threw a monkey wrench in that, so I had to go with the elephant.
I like it.
Next best option. All right, Jared, it's up to you now. I think you're going to discover something new.
Wow, I feel like I'm being led into this. What if I want to have?
No,
a
you don't have to discover something new. You can have a discussion. You can start a new project. But I just remember you saying Maybe you're just reading your options
Yeah,
off.
no, yeah, I definitely do want to discover something new. So the stone cairn that the head witch had been sacrificed at, there are some. We're noticing some sprigs, some growth from the cairn that previously hadn't been there. So just stuff growing out of the stone. Blood red. So blood red, like ivy, now, and moss now sort of creeping out of this stone cairn.
Pretty soon, Cody's going to ask you the pH of your soil, because that's what he did when he came to my house. Was, what's the pH of your soil? I think I can grow your plants a little differently. All right, so that ends autumn for us. So for now, we will see you next time.